the intensity of the 5th Custom Mail-In Tournament, we now move on to the 6th Custom Mail-In Drag Race Tournament. And our first group to start us off is Black Rhino, Sloppy Bear, King Shark, and Albino Rhino. And the tournament is underway. Albino Rhino takes an early lead, and they will get the first win of this new tournament. And they finish with a 3.07. That is the time set, thus the time to beat. And we didn't see too many undefeated racers in the 5th Custom Mail-In Tournament, but hopefully with a drag race tournament we'll see something a little different here. But we have seen a lot of surprises in tournaments like this, especially recently. So who can tell for sure? And here we go into race number 2. Black Rhino was keeping up with Albino Rhino for a second, but Albino is pulling away, and they get win number 2. And they finish this time slightly slower, it seems, with 3.09. I think we got really close in the last drag race tournament to breaking 3 seconds, or maybe someone did by just a smidge. But we'll see if anybody can do it this time around. Also, something seems to be up with Black Rhino's windshield, but maybe it's just the angle I'm looking at it. But now for heat number 3, Albino Rhino takes an early lead right out of the gate, and that gives them an opportunity to get the 3rd win, and as a result, they will be moving on. Because out of each group, only one person is going to progress. And if you get 3 wins right off the bat, you don't even need to worry about how the 4th race goes, because no one else will be able to catch up to you. Finishing again with 3.07. At this point, Albino Rhino can breathe easy and possibly try to break their own record. Here we go, the 4th and final race, at least for this group. Albino Rhino is looking for it. Is he going to get the win? He will, but will they get the fastest time? We'll have to see. I mean, they still have the fastest time at this point. But they could not break 3.07, so that will be the fastest time at least for now. Definitely a solid effort by the other racers. Black Rhino kept on Albino Rhino's tail pretty much the entire time, but they could not close the gap. So it'll be Albino Rhino grabbing the first spot in the next round. And now for our second group, we will introduce Robocop, Chuck, Laro, and Warren Clutch. And as the race begins, it looks like it's Robocop out in front, actually. And they will get the first win. And it looks like they finished with a 3.14. That is the pie time, as it were. So it's not going to break any records, per se. But as I say all the time, as long as you move on, you will have more opportunities to do so. Also, I'm just noticing who's driving that vehicle. For Chuck, and I think that's some type of dog, but I could very easily be wrong. For a second earlier, I thought it was a Care Bear. But race number 2 begins. Despite the lane change, Robocop does not seem to be phased, and they get win number 2 without much of an issue, finishing slightly quicker with 3.13. Now, just because they're winning doesn't mean it's by a whole lot. If they slip up even slightly, then they might still lose. And in a drag race, sometimes the way you start can make all the difference. So that's 2 wins for Robocop, 1 more, and they will shut this out. The race begins. It seems like Laro was giving them a run for their money, but they are falling behind as Robocop gets that 3rd win. So they will move on, joining Albino Rhino in the next phase. And they've beaten their personal time, now with 3.12, but it's not a record breaker. Can they finish under 3.1 at this point? It seems like it could be possible, and they have 1 more opportunity to do so, at least for now. So let's see how this plays out. They're out of the gate. Warren Clutch seem to get a slightly slow start. Here comes Laro, though, trying to stop Robocop. I don't think they were able to pull it off, though. It looked like Robocop still had the edge on them, and they did. It was very close for a second. Laro was giving it all they got, but Robocop was still able to pull something off here. So they will also remain undefeated, just like Albino Rhino. I believe we have 2 more groups left, at least for today. And for our third group, we have Derek Wild, Jack Thunder, Atomic Pam, and Mr. Dark. These are some really cool names, by the way. And I'm actually not sure which vehicle that is. Some of them look a little similar. But they finished with a 3.11. In fact, it was very close. They only won by about 1/100th of a second. We'll have to double check as to which vehicle that is, because sometimes the names go by so quickly. But I want to make sure I give the names their proper pronunciation. That was Jack Thunder, followed closely by Atomic Pam. Here we go, race number 2. Jack Thunder is back out in front. Mr. Dark trying to close the gap, but they seem to actually be making the gap bigger. And Jack Thunder gets win number 2. And they're moving slightly quicker than Robocop was, but slightly slower than Albino Rhino. So they're somewhere in the middle, it seems, of the racers that have moved on so far. But Jack Thunder is only 1 win away at this point. If they can get it on this one, they won't have to worry about how the 4th one goes. The lanes have been switched up. Jack Thunder is back out in front again. But here comes Pam, and it doesn't seem like they got it, though. It was awfully close. Only by about 2/100ths of a second. It looked like Atomic Pam was closing the gap. They were actually speeding up by the end. But they needed a slightly better start to pull that off, I would say. So that means Jack Thunder is going to be the one out of this group to move on. So now it's just a matter of whether or not they can get their personal best. And they do have a good start. Atomic Pam seemed to fishtail a little bit, and they did stay about a length behind or so. But unfortunately, they could not speed up right when they needed to. So Jack Thunder is also going to be undefeated. So far, everyone who has moved on has not lost a race. Let's see if a racer out of the 4th and final group of today can do the same thing. But the finishes were all pretty consistent with this group. And now for the 4th and final one, where we will have Matt McNear, Q, Scooter, and Iceman. And the race begins. It looks like Iceman has about half a length of a lead, and they will get win number 1 in this group. So if the streak of undefeated races is going to be maintained, it is going to be up to Iceman, who just got the new fast time of 3.05. Generally speaking, I would say that it's more common in the beginning of the tournament to break the speed record because not a lot of racers have gone yet. But the further you get into the tournament, the harder it is to break it. But Iceman now has the fastest time of 3.05. So now Matt McNear, Q, and Scooter know what they're up against. So hopefully they re-strategize and try to get a win here. But Iceman is not giving them time to strategize. And they've gotten win number 2, now with 3.06. The way that car is built, it seems like it is built for speed like this. Some cars are just really good at drag races. Some are built for stamina. Some are built for speed, and some for both. So far, Iceman is just 1 win away from stamping the final spot in today's video to move on to the next round And it looks like they're gonna pull it off as they get the win without much of an issue. So Iceman, with the fastest time of 3.05, takes the final spot in today's round of the tournament. Some racers made it very close for the ones who moved on. But the fact of the matter is, every single person who ran today that won has not lost yet. And Iceman will progress so far, holding on to the fastest time of 3.05, along with being one of the racers that are undefeated. Oh wow, for some reason I thought that was 4 races, but this is the 4th race, and Iceman does get the win. So despite me getting to the point where I was jumping the gun a little bit, it still remains true. Iceman still has the record at 3.05, and they will be undefeated. So that's 4 groups, 4 winners, 4 undefeated racers, and the record broken at least once, possibly even twice. But there you have it for today's roster, being added up by 4 with Albino Rhino, Robocop, Jack Thunder, and Iceman. See you next time.